did you talk about textbooks or your
Oh
courses
yeah,
or anything?
textbooks. How many people are in Spanish 101 or 102? Okay, so last year when the group went, the Spanish textbook was $130, right? And it came with a website component that they didn't use. And I don't want that to happen. So I want you guys, if you're in 101 or 102, to buy the cheapest used textbook you can find. Do we have a dry erase marker? Or
No.
you have a way to write? I believe it's on, if you have access to Canvas, I believe it's on Canvas already, but it's Panorama is the name of the textbook, only if you're in Spanish 101 or 102, and it can be 3rd edition, 4th edition, or 5th edition, which is the new one.
Okay.
Vistas is the publisher. Buy the cheapest one you can find. We're going to be doing a lot of work in class to help you learn as much as you can, with the idea that then you're going to go use that out in the street or in the club or whatever you're going to go do. If you want to get together with someone today and be like, oh, you're in Spanish 101, let's just split the book, that's okay too. I know that this is not the cheapest venture you've undertaken in your life, so I'm not trying to stick you with more prices, more fees. So feel free to totally find the most cheapest, share it. But on Canvas, I believe I posted the name of the textbook, but it's Panorama. I don't know if you guys can see it.
Is it on the screen?
Yeah. And also, again,
Yeah.
I'm going to give you my Mount SAC email because it's the one that goes to my phone. So I can answer it immediately, except for tomorrow when I'll be on the plane. So,
Is it one of these textbooks here?
yeah, Panorama. This is the 5th edition. You can get the 3rd edition, the 4th edition. They just change the edition because they can get more money, but they don't actually change any information.
So the Spanish language doesn't change every edition?
Spanish language does change, but not that quick. Yeah.
Okay.
And then if you already speak Spanish, I also want you to come talk to me. I really work hard with my students who are heritage speakers. We have this tendency when we speak Spanish in California to think that we have some deficiency. Maybe we've said something and someone laughed at us for how we said it. And the problem with that is them, not us, right? If someone says something bad about you, it has nothing to do with you. It has to do with the person who was talking to you, right? So we're gonna find that in Spain they speak Spanish differently than we do. If we speak Spanish because our families are from Mexico or Guatemala or El Salvador or wherever our families might be from, and it's okay. If we went to London, our English is going to be different than theirs, but we're not going to have a complex about that, right? We're just going to set them straight. And so we're going to work really hard on doing the same thing in Spanish as well. So if you already understand Spanish, even if you don't feel like you express yourself in Spanish as well as you do in English, come talk to me. I want you guys to feel confident. I want you guys to understand what we're doing linguistically so that we can get our Spanish where we want it to be, but also understand the differences between Spanish where we're from and Spanish where we're going. Okay? Any questions for me about anything? Why we exist?
I think I enrolled in Spanish 140, which is the beginning conversational Spanish. Is there going to be a different textbook for that as well, or is that the same?
Yeah, different instructors, different materials, but I think that they're probably providing
when
those
they're there.
when they're there. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm teaching 101 and 102, and if you enrolled in a Spanish class that's not 101 or 102 or 127, your instructors will be people from Seville. More questions? No? Should we just get on the plane now?
All right. Thank you. Yay. All right. Okay, who's next?
Hi, hola. I'm Cynthia. I will be your professor for art history and film. Oh, we're supposed to stand near the mic.
Yeah,
Right? I was in Sevilla a couple years ago for my sabbatical, and you're gonna just feel like you've died and gone to heaven. It's really as beautiful as it is in the videos that you've seen. I'm so excited. I'm just looking around at all your faces. We're gonna get to know each other. Maybe some of the parents too, right? So we'll take good care of them. Textbook-wise, I will not be requiring textbooks for any of the art history courses. You'll have everything you need, all the readings and everything on Canvas. I'll be posting some kind of general readings about art and architecture in Seville, maybe the week before classes begin. You can find that, I'll open that up on Canvas. So just so you have an idea what you're going to see when, as soon as we land. For the film course, it's the film appreciation course, I forget the number, 199 I think.
Yeah.
There will be a textbook, and I posted the link, I just posted this morning on the Facebook page. There's a link to purchase that text. It's better if you go, I think you could get it through the Citrus bookstore, but you'll get a better price if you just go directly to the website of the publisher. So I provided that for you. And I think John said there maybe that you should do all that kind of downloading, or make sure you have your text access to it before you go.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
It wasn't so much an internet thing, but you said there were issues with downloading.
Well, the speeds are not
the
what we're
speed,
used to,
okay,
so
so-
that sometimes.
Might as well prepare. Yeah.
What else do I need to tell you? There was something else. Oh, yeah, my daughters will be joining me. Not for the whole time. They'll be coming in April. So this is Mia. This is one of my daughters, and the other one had to work today, but they're excited to meet you too. When you look on the Facebook page, I posted something this morning, an image of Santa Justa and Santa Rufina. They are the protectors of the La Hidalga, which is the big cathedral in Seville. And so I'm asking you to kind of adopt them as our protector and guide for this journey that we're about to embark on. So enjoy it. I'm looking forward to talking with all of you. If you have any questions for me?
Email address?
Oh yes, let's use my Rio Hondo email. It's clewis, CLEWIS, @riohondo.edu. I will also be using WhatsApp when we're there for kind of more like personal type things. Like if you just need to get in touch with me really quickly. So until then, use the Rio Hondo. If you have any questions before the trip, while we're there, any communication that has to do like specifically with the course, we can do within Canvas. They have a message thing in Canvas.
And the contacts are on Canvas as well.
Which contacts?
Your email.
It will be. I haven't published it. I haven't published the courses yet on Canvas, but I will. Yes, that will be available there.
Okay. Cool. Any questions? All right. Thank you very much. Yay. All right. Okay. You're good.
All right. And finally, guys, hi, I'm Andrew Kim, and I'll be your psychology instructor. I know that most of you have signed up for at least one of my 4 classes that I'm bringing to Spain. I haven't had the pleasure of being a study abroad student back in my days, but I have had the experience as an instructor of study abroad previously. So from having done that, I've learned a few tendencies that study abroad students have while they're over there. Now, the really good news is that most of you are strangers to each other now, but 3 months from now, some of you are going to become the best of friends if past is any indication. And I've had my previous study abroad students become I don't want to say lifelong friends because it's only been 5 years, but at least on social media, I've seen them keep in touch with each other, hang out with each other once they return to California. So I'm really excited for you guys. The other thing about student tendencies is that some of you, your travel preferences are to be very spontaneous, see what life throws at you, but others of you are real planners. And I mean planning down to like on what day you're gonna have lunch at what restaurant, planning, that level of planning. So for you guys, over the past week, I worked on my syllabus, and right now, Professor Salinger mentioned something called Canvas, the Canvas website, where you and I will communicate with each other primarily through messaging. And also, Professor, where are you? I also uploaded a lot of class materials onto the Canvas sites. so that you don't have to purchase anything before you leave. Now, this is for a lot of you, but not all of you. So let me get the dry textbook information out of the way. For students who are not enrolled in my human sexuality class, so raise your hand if you're in some psych class, but it's not human sexuality. Okay, you guys don't have to buy anything, okay? Everything that you need, pre-uploaded onto Canvas. So bring yourselves, bring a personal device, obviously, laptop, okay, tablet, to access Canvas. But other than just, pen, paper, that's pretty much all you'll need to buy, okay? For students in the human sexuality class, I am bringing a textbook, but I'm going to give you several options on what version you can bring. It's either as cost effective or so, this is human sexuality only. Here's the official textbook. And I know that today is also a popular day for you to walk down to our campus bookstore and purchase all the books then. But you have several options. This is the official book. This is what I'm bringing with me. But notice it's kind of big and bulky, and you don't want to be hit with the the what do you call it, the extra weight fee when you're flying, right, on your luggage. So to reduce luggage, what I encourage is that you buy the e-version, the e-book version of this text, which is not the cheapest option, because your cheapest option would be to find a very tattered and used copy of this on Amazon Marketplace. I've seen copies for as low as $6 or $7, okay, some shipping fee. But that's the absolute cheapest, if you don't mind bringing a paper book with you, okay? But to reduce luggage, get the ebook. I believe that it's somewhere around $59 or so last I checked. And again, that is not the cheapest option, but it may be most convenient for you, okay? So human sexuality students, that's what we're using. Everyone else, just bring yourselves. But what I was getting at with respect to the planning is that because I know some of you guys like to plan, I posted the week-to-week itinerary for my classes onto Canvas. So try to access that, maybe not tonight, but at some point before you leave, so that you can plan your weekend excursions. You can plan, which Fridays you want to just kind of be tempted to take off, and right? Okay. Cough, cough. Okay. Professor, I couldn't make it to your Thursday class. No, I know you're not gonna. You're gonna be good, but like I said, I've had a few students, and I've learned their tendencies. So that's a little bit about me. Now, my email. I teach here at Citrus, so my email is first initial last name, A as an apple, KIM @citruscollege.edu. Feel free to reach out to me or any one of us. Okay. Any questions? Okay, hopefully I was clear.
Okay, good job. Thank you. All right, so I'll hand it off to you, Paula.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Buenos días. My name is Paula, and I came to study abroad just like you guys. When I was a Spanish major in college and I barely spoke any Spanish, I figured I better get myself to Spain. And my college in New York was affiliated with AIFS. So I remember that feeling. I still do, even though it was many, many, many years ago. I remember that feeling of, and this was the 80s, right? We didn't have digital communication like we do now. But I got on a plane. I didn't know where I was going, who was going to meet me or anything. But I was going to be gone for a year. And as I'm not afraid to admit it, mama's girl with a very helicopter mother, I was ready to get out, right? It was my time, and it completely changed everything for me. I matured, I became more confident, I learned a lot of Spanish, and it really taught me I could navigate the world and I would be okay. It would be fine. I would make it through. So congratulations on your decision to study abroad. It's probably one of the best decisions you'll ever make, besides the person you marry and the children you have, although you can't choose them, that's for sure. But this will be one of the best decisions that you ever have made, right? No one ever comes back from studying abroad and says, oh, I wish I never did that, right? But I talk to people all the time, including my Uber driver this morning, who said, I should have done study abroad. So excellent. I studied abroad in Granada, Spain, which you're going to visit as part of your culture course, right? Your Spanish life and culture course. So you'll be visiting my city. But you're going to Seville, which is one of the best cities in Spain for sure. So your program dates, we're going to break this presentation up. It's very long, and your Seville team put it together for me to present to you, so I'm not going to take any of the blame for the length of this presentation. But I'm going to make it as useful and helpful as possible. We are going to break it up in the middle a couple of times because we want to take a group photo. We have this beautiful banner. We want to take a group photo outside, and then we also want to do some roommate exercises for you guys to get to know each other, okay? We have our preliminary roommate list ready to go, but there is still room for changes, so we're going to do some roommate exercises and things. So this is going to take a while, but we hope to break it up and make it a little more palatable. All right, there we go, Sevilla, La Feria de Sevilla, right? It's world famous, right? Everybody wants to be in Sevilla for La Feria, and you are going to be there. So we're going to start with your student portal. You've all logged onto your student portal, right, at aifscustomized.com, right? So that's where you make payments and upload your passport, upload some photos. You have a little to-do list. You also have a program documents library on that. There are some documents up there like the insurance brochure. Starting on Monday, your group flight will be posted up there and your student handbook will be posted up there. And that is a 20-page document with all the information that we're going over in the presentation today. We're also going to upload the presentation on Monday so you don't have to worry about, you certainly can take photos of slides. I don't mind at all, but it'll all be there. So if you feel like you've missed something, don't worry. On Monday, you'll be able to access it all. We don't want to put it up before this meeting because students have told us, I got all the information already, I don't need to go to the meeting. And we wanted you to come. So we will upload it starting on Monday morning. All right, so we're going to go through the practical information first, the itinerary, first. So departure day, if you're on the group flight, your itinerary will be up starting on Monday, but I have the group flight information on the next slide. You will receive a ticket confirmation and an insurance card and luggage tags in a UPS mailer to your home address that you gave us about 10 days prior to departure. So in the next 2 weeks or so, they'll start going out to all of you. You'll be getting these green luggage tags. Even if you're not on the group flight, you will get the insurance card and the luggage tags. Okay, you won't get the group flight ticket information, but you'll get the rest of it. So everyone will get a UPS mailer. And the green luggage tags are great, especially for those of you on the group flight, because when you come through the airport and our staff is looking for you all, although there's a lot of you traveling together, those green luggage tags make you easily identifiable to our staff. So please remember to fill those out, and we'll give you the information of the address you should put on it in a few slides, all right? So those of you on the group flight, your staff will be meeting you at the airport in Sevilla. So your group flight departs on February 20th. You're taking American Airlines from LAX to Chicago. And then you have a tiny little layover in Chicago, and then you'll be boarding an Iberia flight to Madrid. Okay, does that make sense? Those are your flight numbers. You'll be arriving in Madrid. It's an overnight flight from Chicago to Madrid. You'll be arriving local time at 7:45 a.m. You'll go through customs when you get to Madrid, but you don't have to pick up your luggage, which is nice. It will be sent automatically to Sevilla, and that flight departs about 4 hours later at 11:50, and then you'll arrive at SVQ, which is the code for the Seville airport, at 12:55 p.m. So yeah, it feels like Seville's really far away. It is. It is. The Seville airport is a small regional airport, so there are no direct flights from the U.S. to the Seville airport. All the flights go through Madrid or Barcelona. All right. Your return flight information, although we're not going to think about it now, but you have that. You're flying Seville to Madrid, Madrid direct to LAX, which is really nice. All right, and that's all on Iberia. All right. Those of you who want to change your return flight, it is possible. Unfortunately, there's some fees that are applicable to that. the flight has to be, or the ticket has to be an open ticket, which means you can change your return flight once you have completed the first leg of the journey. So that is something that you could do when you're in Sevilla. Your plans are definitely finalized and concrete. You can talk to our local staff and they will help you with changing your return flight if that's something that you're interested to do. I know I get that question a lot, so therefore I mention it. Any questions about the flights? No? All right. We're going to go a little bit about departure day. So, beautiful LAX. Remember, check-in is definitely a minimum of 3 hours prior. You can't check in online for 2 reasons. You will be checking into an international flight, so you do probably have to show your passport, and it is a group ticket reservation for those of you on the group flight, so the airlines don't afford us that luxury of checking in online. So you want to make sure you're at the check-in counter 3 hours prior to departure. I took a family member to the airport about 2 weeks ago to check in for an international flight, and we just stood in line for the check-in desk for nearly an hour. So it does take a while. My blood pressure was going through the roof. I was like, oh, why is this taking so long? Never mind later on when you go through security. So definitely get there early so that if there are lines and things are slow, you don't have a heart attack because you're late, okay? So definitely be at the check-in desk minimum 3 hours prior to departure, which means also you have to watch traffic, right? It's LAX, and even in LAX inter-airport traffic, that is terrible. It's that one little avenue to get all the way to the back of the airport can take a lot of time. So definitely remember that traffic in LAX, not just getting to the airport, can be quite heavy. All right. Also remember that international flights board 1 hour prior to departure. So again, you want to be there really early. We can't stress that enough. When you check in, you want to make sure that you have a copy of your e-ticket, the one that is either sent to you in the UPS mailer or one that when you can download and print it off the AIFS portal. Have your passport on you. Don't pack it in your luggage. And definitely if you're traveling on your own, make sure you have the arrival directions to the accommodations. Our staff will communicate that with you directly, right? Those of you who have booked your own flights, you're going to be communicating with our Seville staff, and they're giving you instructions and addresses and directions on how to get to your accommodations. In your carry-on bag, you'll have a carry-on bag and a checked luggage. You want to definitely in your carry-on, I always travel as if I were going to have my luggage lost. And luggage gets lost sometimes. Not a lot, but it could happen. So I like to travel with my carry-on as if my luggage were going to be lost. In my carry-on, I always take a spare set of clothes. Something to wear the next day in case my luggage doesn't arrive. Something to sleep in, too, because to me, there's nothing worse than having to sleep in travel clothes, then get up the next day, shower, put them back on, and do your whole first day orientation. I hate that feeling. I've had to do that before, so I always pack a spare set of clothes and sleeping stuff. Absolutely medication. Any medication, especially prescription medication, carry it with you, right? So that if your luggage is lost, you have your meds, which is very important. All right? Any questions? Yes?
Directions and accommodations if you're traveling on your own?
Yes.
How do I get that?
So our staff will be communicating that with you. You will have to send your itinerary to our AIFS staff, and then they'll respond with all of that information. Yeah, sure. So once you're checked in at the airline desk, you go through TSA security, and this is a little graphic of the Tom Bradley terminal. There we go. So you'll check in at, these are the check-in desks. This is the main entrance. You'll check in at one of these desks. Yes?
Sorry, I was listening.
Yeah.
For the luggage,
Yes.
are they limited to that amount? Or can you bring
So included with your airfare for all intercontinental flights, you get one 50-pound checked piece and one carry-on, one personal item. So the carry-on has to be within a certain measurement. You should check with American Airlines. Generally, they have to be under 10 to 15 pounds and a certain size.
But are we allowed to
You could pay extra to check in a second piece. We don't generally recommend that you check in a second piece. You won't have much storage in your accommodations. So bringing 2 large pieces of luggage, you won't have anywhere to store it. Remember, apartments are small, bedrooms are small, you have limited closet space, and then all the shopping you're going to do when you're there too. So we don't generally recommend students bring more than 1 piece of luggage.
Okay, also for the seating, are they allowed to choose the seating on the plane, or it's automatically?
Well, you'll be assigned seats. You probably have already been assigned seats, and then when you get to the check-in desk, you can ask for aisle or window or something like that. Yeah, and they give it out based on availability. Yeah, good questions. Any other questions that I jumped ahead? No. Go through TSA security. That takes a while, right? Generally, general rules are you have to remove shoes, any electronics larger than a phone, sweaters and jackets when you go through the security, right? Everything gets x-rayed, and then you yourself kind of get scanned. So that takes a while, right? I know that they have been developing better technology and trying to speed things up with the search dog technology and all that. So hopefully it'll go quickly, but just in case, be prepared to remove your shoes and electronics. After you go through security, then you make sure you get all of your things. I can't tell you how many people leave laptops, and generally people don't walk away without their shoes, but definitely laptops, phones, passports. Make sure that when you are going through security and things like that, you're very purposeful and mindful about where you're putting your stuff, right? That you're putting it all back. Pick up everything, and then you go find your gate. And that's probably where you'll all meet up, right? At the gate. Everybody will meet up there. You're all going to kind of get to know each other. So you'll recognize one another, and then you'll start your journey all together. If you are delayed, you want to let us know, right? You want to let us know what's going on. You can shoot us an email. You can call the emergency phone. I definitely have all of that information in a few slides. And then we just want you to try and be patient, relax, but especially pay attention and listen, right? Things could change. Gates could change. Times could change. You want to make sure that you are paying attention and you know where you have to be, and especially if there's any kind of a change, okay? All right. All right, so for those of you that have made your own travel plans, we'd like you to email us your itinerary. So at spain@aifs.co.uk, this is your contact email. This is an important email for you to put into your contacts in your email address, especially the one that you check regularly. So if you have booked your own flight, please send us your itinerary to that email or upload it to the student portal. You have one of 2 options. We'll get it either way. If you've already uploaded it, then you're good. We have it. If not, please either upload it or send it to us at that email. We will make sure that you give us your name. In the subject bar, please put your program. That helps us easily organize ourselves. And then give us all of your flight information, the dates, the times, the flight number, the airline, arrival information. All right. You should depart on the 20th, but plan to arrive on the 21st, right? So sometimes students go cheap, but have a lot of long different layovers that could take, sometimes students book themselves on 3-day flights. So make sure that you're arriving on the 21st to Seville, right? If you're arriving before, then your accommodations are your own responsibility, so you should plan for a hostel there in Seville. Very easy to find and inexpensive. Again, we will respond by giving you clear directions on how to get from the airport of arrival to the hotel check-in, to the accommodations, all right? Check-in at the hotel is after 3 p.m., but if you get into the hotel early, they definitely can store your luggage. You can go out and get something to eat, walk around a little, get yourself a little oriented. Okay? Any questions on either group flight or own travel? Oh, all right. Awesome. So when you arrive and you are in your final destination, you will clear immigration, and well, actually, you'll clear immigration in Madrid, most of you, and then but your luggage will go all the way to Sevilla. In Sevilla, you'll pick up your luggage from the carousel, then go through what they call customs, which is probably just a customs officer checking luggage, asking you questions about contents, what you've brought, things like that. If your bags are missing and they don't come after the carousel just stops spinning after a while, if your luggage doesn't show up, definitely file a missing baggage claim, and you'll do that right there in the luggage carousel area. There'll be a desk with the Iberia group. You'll fill out a missing luggage. You'll give them all of the AIFS office and contact information, and generally they're able to locate the luggage right away, and it generally comes about 24 hours later. Usually it's pretty quick. Now with technology, it doesn't happen often, but when it does, they can resolve it pretty quickly. Okay, but we've packed that wonderful carry-on with a full change of clothes and some toiletries and meds, so we're all good to go, right? No harm, no foul. All right, excellent. Any questions on that? All right. All right. For those of you arriving on the group flight, our staff will be in the airport in Sevilla to receive you. They'll make sure that we have everyone that we are expecting. Take roll, and then we will transfer from the airport to the hotel. Not a far ride at all. I think it's 25 minutes. You will then go to the hotel in the center of Sevilla, and then we will check you all into the hotel. Okay, so definitely here you have the emergency phone number. We want you to put that into your phone contacts under emergency-AIFS, right? Emergency-AIFS, and also put that email into your email contacts, right? If you ever need to email us for anything, there you have all that information. So the numbers underlined are for U.S. cell phones, right? That you have to, even when you're in Spain but you're using your U.S. cell phone, you have to have that 01134 or just +34. All right, I'll give you a couple seconds to write them down. All this information, again, will be on the portal starting on Monday. Okay. All right, so now we're going to cover a little bit of the first day's itineraries. Arrivals on the 21st and our night in the hotel. On the 2nd, we'll start our orientation with our local staff, and afternoon move into our accommodations. On Sunday the 23rd, we'll have a tour of all of the must-sees of Sevilla, and then your class will start on the 24th. So classes start on Monday the 24th, starting around 9 a.m., and then you'll have some sign-ups for some of the different cultural activities starting at lunch. Our staff will be there through the morning. They'll be talking about all of the itinerary and giving you all more information. On the 25th, classes continue. You'll start some workshops and our welcome tapas in the evening. All right, just to give you some more info, on Friday the 28th is a holiday in Andalusia Day, which is a regional holiday in all of the south of Spain. So the schools will close that day. A lot of businesses will close, restaurants, that kind of thing will be open, movies, stuff like that. And on the 29th, those of you who would like to participate, there is the optional Sevilla Football Club game. So we have some tickets. Students who would like to go can purchase its subsidized cultural activity. It's an extra. La Plaza de España. Star Wars Episode 1, 2? One of them was filmed there. Yeah, it's pretty famous. It was the one with Jar Jar Binks. You know that one? I don't know. I'm not a big Star Wars person, but all right. Just a few more dates to note. Your Spanish Life and Culture excursion to Cordoba and Granada is on the 3rd to the 4th. So that is an overnight trip. It's mandatory. It's part of the program. And you'll be traveling to Cordoba and then spend the night in Granada the next day on Saturday visiting the city. Your Easter break will be Thursday the 9th through Sunday the 12th, so you'll have a long weekend that day, a 4-day weekend. And then Monday the 1st of May is a holiday in all of Spain, and most of Europe, actually, it's Labor Day. A few more dates with activities. So as I mentioned, that optional Sevilla Football Club game is on the 29th of February. The optional weekend to Morocco is March 13th through 15th. There are still some spaces left, so if students want to sign up for that and you haven't already, you can email us at that Spain@AIFS email. We have an additional optional day trip to Jerez de la Frontera, which is down in Cádiz, down toward Gibraltar. Beautiful little town, very famous for horses, olive oil, and wine, sherry tasting. So that will be a lovely day trip. That is optional, so it would be an optional fee.
Are those, can they purchase those?
When you're there, you can do it. Yeah, you can sign up when you're there. If you wanted to do it ahead of time, you can just email us, and you don't pay there. It's added to your AFS bill, so you would pay through the portal. You could do it when you're there, or you could, to make sure you got a spot, you could do it here. The Granada Cordoba excursion in April, we mentioned that already. Semana Santa, Feria de Abril. The Feria, right, that is 2 weeks, I think, in April to May. All right, so here you have your local AIFS team. Clem, who's British but does a lot of our Spain programs, and Rita, who is Española. She worked with the group last year, and the students really liked her. Sarah Plumley, who is also British, she is our program manager. She's based in London, but she'll be in Spain, in Seville with you for the first 2 weeks, and then she will go back and forth between her job in London and visiting you guys while you're there. So she's sort of the supervisor of the local team. All right, we gave you the email address already, so you have that. Any questions or anything about them? No? All right. So just as far as the student services that we offer, so these are experienced staff. Clem has been with us for, I think, over 20 years, close to that, running groups in many different cities in Spain, France, all over the world. I know he's done our Ecuador program as well. They coordinate your accommodation. They coordinate all of the logistics for the Spanish Civilization course, the Life and Culture course. They'll run all the culture activities, making sure that we have all of our local guides. You have your entrance tickets. Buses are where they need to be. They're kind of in charge of getting the group running. Program administration. So they're there to help with all of the things, all the tasks that have to do to make sure that the program runs as smoothly as possible. And they're there to support you, right? So they've all done study abroad themselves. They've all worked with us for a number of years. They all have seen probably everything you're experiencing. They've probably seen it before, because you're not the only one in the world to go through what you go through as a study abroad student. Some of it good, some of it tough, right? So there's some challenges ahead that you're going to face. So they're there to support you, give you advice. Reach out to them. They're nice people. They're going to be great people to get to know. So use that resource, right? They're a great resource to have. And if you have any issue, you just want to talk about something, you want to vent, right? You're a little frustrated, go talk to them. All right. They're also on duty 24/7 for the entire duration of the program. So either one or the other will be on duty. They rotate, right? So they get a little time off. But you'll always have that phone number, the one that we gave you already. It's there, turned on, and someone is paying attention to it for the entire duration of the program. Now, that doesn't mean if you post something on Facebook or you send a text message, you might not wake them up from a dead sleep. You might have to make a phone call, right? You might have to call them. So the phone has WhatsApp. You have that call feature. You can call them and wake them up if you're ill in the middle of the night or something happens and you need help. All right. Great doctors in Spain. And so, wonderful doctors, and our insurance covers any health care that you might need while you're in Spain. So don't just live with that cough or live with that cold. Definitely go and see a doctor if you need one. Get the right meds so that you feel better as soon as possible. I also want to mention about taking care of yourself before we get there. I've been in study abroad for a long time, and I've worked with a lot of students, especially in Spain. And if you are burning the candle at both ends, you're going, you're out all night, you're drinking a lot of alcohol, or at least a lot more alcohol than you do when you're here. You're not eating right because you're living in an apartment and you'd rather live on a liquid diet versus a regular diet. So you're not getting your proteins, your veg, your fruits. You're going to get sick, right? Not even Miley Cyrus could live like Miley Cyrus, right? She had to give it up too. So you need to take care of yourself. Right? So you need to eat a balanced diet. You need to eat real food, healthy food, and you need to get sleep, right? And limit your alcohol because you will get sick. And stomach viruses, because the alcohol is an astringent, it will kill the good bacteria in your digestive tract as well as the bad stuff. But students are more prone to illness when you're abroad, and so take care of yourself. Okay, that's my little 2 bits. That wasn't in the PowerPoint, but so here you have the location of the AFS Study Center. We are located at the Click Spanish School, right in the heart of downtown historic Sevilla. And here's the address. So this is the address that we want you to put on your luggage tags. If your luggage were to be lost, this is where it would be redirected, and then our staff would make sure it got to your housing. And I'll let you all take photos of that. All right, you can see the zip goes before the city. It's just a little different. All right, everybody's got a photo. Let's see. This is a photo of what your school looks like. So your classrooms are in here. Your AIFS office is in here. And you also have a lot of different international students that are there, a lot of different Europeans, Japanese, Chinese students that are there learning Spanish. So it is a very international center. You'll meet people from all over the world. Right. Inside, so you have this beautiful inside courtyard. There's some study spaces, and your office is right off the courtyard. The center is open from 8:45 a.m. to 6:45 p.m. Monday through Friday. So you'll have somewhere to go where you can study, computer access as well, printer access, Wi-Fi is available there. Wi-Fi is also available at your accommodations. All right. And then as far as apartments and homestays, they're all within a 30-minute walk to the study center. And that sounds like a lot, right? I mean, a lot of times you have to park all the way at the stadium and walk to class, and you're like, I can't believe I had to park that far and I had to walk. Well, now walking 30 minutes is going to be normal to you. Everybody walks everywhere. Sevilla has a great bus system. But people walk everywhere. It's very much part of Spanish society. So you'll walk to the cafe, you'll get a coffee, then you'll walk to school, you'll walk to get an helado. People walk everywhere in Sevilla. Walk to the pastry shop. All right. You're all in low-rise apartment buildings. That's where most people live. And there are a combination of old and new apartments. Elevators are not guaranteed. You might live in a first, second, or even third-story walk-up. All right. So there is a combination. They're all different, but they all have something that we really think is worth the experience. All right. So they're all great housing arrangements. They're all within this radius, right? So there's the school, and they all could be in Triana. They could be in the beginning of Nervión. They could be around the university. So you're all within that 30-minute radius. All right. And then as far as those of you who's chosen new apartments, Apartment students, all right. 4 to 6 students per apartment, single gender. They're all self-catered, which means you all have access to a kitchen that is equipped with pots, pans, forks, knives, and plates. You probably have stove, microwave, probably not oven. They're all twin-bedded rooms, so they're all double rooms unless you've requested and paid the supplement for a single, then that would be accommodated. That you have a shared living room, access to Wi-Fi, and shared bathrooms. All right. Generally, there's one to 2 bathrooms per apartment, depending on how many bedrooms there are. All right. And then you have cleaning service for the common areas that comes in twice a week. So generally, they don't enter in your bedrooms. They'll all have keys and locks to the bedrooms, but they'll clean up the living room, clean up the kitchen, clean up bathrooms, which is nice. All right. Be respectful of each other's habits. When we break now, we're going to take a photo and then we're going to do a roommate exercise for a few minutes. Definitely communication. That's part of the problem most of the time. Not communicating with each other, making little passive-aggressive comments behind your roommate's back rather than solving the issue directly. Then the drama can build and it becomes a reality TV show. We don't want that to happen, right? We want you to learn to communicate with one another, right? That's part of the maturing process, part of, learning to live on your own. We want you to be direct, and we want you to negotiate. We want you to do what our government doesn't do. We want you to learn how to negotiate with one another to come to a reasonable understanding, right? So generally it's so-and-so never cleans up her dishes. So-and-so leaves dishes in the sink all the time. So-and-so leaves her wet laundry, in the washing machine and doesn't hang it up. And I said her, it could be him too. So we want you to learn how to communicate, and then when, a behavior that's not acceptable is called to your attention, we want you to remedy it, right? Because you're living in community now. So we're going to do a little bit about that now. You have to take out your own garbage. You also have to separate your trash. That is the law. So there'll be recycle bins where you could put glass, where you'll put glass and paper and plastics. So you'll have to separate those out. There will be information in the apartments how and where to do that. Generally, they're on the back of the front door. We there have maps and all those good indications. And then when you check into your apartments, members of our staff will be going with you to show you all of the different procedures. You definitely have regulated quiet hours in Spain. If you're in the apartment and you're making noise after 11 p.m., your neighbors will call the police. The police will come and your apartment will be cited. So you'll get fines and you have to pay them because your names and passport information will go into the citation. So you definitely have to be quiet. These are apartment buildings where you'll have neighbors of all kinds. You'll have families. You'll have elderly. You might have other students. And generally, these student apartments, to the neighbors and to the homeowners association, are sometimes problems. So if you make the littlest, sometimes noise and things like that, you're going to find your neighbors are right on you, knocking and asking you to be quiet. I've even had students Skyping in the middle of the night with parents or family, and neighbors come and knock on the door because if you're yelling into your computer at 3 a.m., you're waking somebody up in the apartment upstairs or the apartment next door, okay? No late night parties. You cannot have people over late at night for a party. You can't have people over to guests to sleep. So all of friends, family that want to come and visit, they should plan on getting hostel accommodations. All right. And I think some photos, and then we're going to go to the photo and to the roommate exercises. Some photos of what rooms look like. There you have your kitchen. There you have your common area and your bathroom. We'll do homestays and then we'll do that
Okay.
quickly. two students per homestay, and these are lovely families that are opening up their homes to you guys to so that you can practice your Spanish and learn to live like a Spaniard for the next 3 months. You will have shared bathrooms, shared living areas, limited access to kitchen. So generally you can't cook in a Spanish homestay, but you can store snacks. Make maybe peanut butter and jelly sandwiches or something like that if you'd like to. You get daily breakfast and dinner with that, with the homestay family, and on weekends you get breakfast only. Weekly laundry, so you will have the homestay family does your laundry for you, which is very nice, and access to Wi-Fi, and you'll have your own key. You won't have a curfew, but again, you should be quiet when you come home very late at night. Not turn off the lights, slam doors, flush toilets a lot, things like that. You should be very considerate of other people's rest. Definitely learn a few key phrases like Professor Salinger recommends, and then speak as much Spanish as you possibly can. I worked with students in Spain for a long time, and the more effort you put into having a relationship with them, the better a homestay experience you're going to have. But the job is on you. Right? They have worked with students a lot. They've seen students who come and just want a place to sleep and don't want a relationship. So they're not going to force themselves on you, right? They think maybe that's not what they want. I don't want to be too overbearing, right? But if you want to build a relationship with them, then you got to leave your room, shut off your Netflix, go into the common areas, ask them questions about their life so that conversation just starts, right? And that relationship just builds. Ask them about what they're watching on TV. Ask them about political situation in Spain. Ask them, I mean, there's so many different things that I'm sure your faculty is going to help you and give you clues on what to ask your family. All right? Definitely act like you would want a guest in your own home to act like. Right? Pick up after yourselves. I always say make your bed every day, although you'll probably find your Spanish señoras will come in and make your bed after you because they want to take care of you. These are ladies that is their job, to make sure that you are well taken care of while you're there. Right? That your laundry is clean, that it's food that you like, that your room is clean. So you're going to see that they are very proactive and active in taking care of you. So it's nice. It's nice. Don't expect it when you come back. But definitely let them do that because they take a lot of pride in their jobs. The Spaniards are very warm when you get to know them. They're very loud. Very loud. So you'll hear them talking on the phone, dígame, and they'll start screaming. Right? And you'll think, why is she so mad? That's just the level of the volume that they use all the time. All right? Definitely be mindful of turning off lights, turning off appliances, and taking short showers. Those are going to be topics that they will be reminding you all the time. Spaniards don't live life like we live. We are a very wasteful country, and I can say that because I'm an American, right? But we are a very wasteful country. We take 20-minute showers. We run a whole dishwasher with a couple plates. You know, we waste a lot. And the whole focus outside of this country is completely different. It's toward conservation and savings. So don't leave lights on when you leave a room. You know, be very mindful of all of those things. All right? If not, they will remind you. So expect that. I think I'm done then.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I think we're just going
That's a photo.
to meet each other, and then we're going to take a break, right? Is that the plan?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, yeah, we could
We'll
do a break or a
group
photo.
also. Okay, so students can stand up and go to the back of the room, and we have our preliminary roommate list. So you're able to change this, and you can request different roommates if you meet somebody here.
They just have to be mindful of what housing each other chose, you know.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if you're in a homestay, you can't
Choose an apartment
you
person.
can't choose an apartment person, obviously. So here you go. That's our list. Can you read that? No? You can come close here. So I just want you guys to meet your roommates real quick. For the students, somebody has all the handouts. Raise your hand if you need a handout. Okay. Did we run out?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Share handouts with somebody. Okay, so if you look at this, it's very simple. When you have a problem with someone, that it's not good to, give them an attitude and then complain about them on social media. That's not a good idea. What we want to do is use I statements, okay? So an I statement, if you read the top there, it's effective because you focus on the effects of the action rather than the action itself, right? So it's easier to communicate when an action is not singled out for blame. So you need to talk about how it affects you, basically, how you feel, right? That action, how did it make you feel? You communicate that. So these are silly examples, bear with me. But it's very simple. If you just look at the little picture diagram there, I feel blank because blank, right? And then when this happens, when blank, this is what I need, right? So here's a silly example for you. A father wants his young child to stop calling him rude names during playtime. So a common response, right? Hey, if you call me a rude name one more time, I'm going to send you straight to bed. An I statement, which is what you should do. I feel very sad when I hear rude words because they hurt my feelings. I like playing with people who use nice words. So, although it sounds kind of robotic there, you get the idea, right? So you're just saying, it would be more natural to say like, hey, those words hurt me when you say them. Please use nice words with me. Here's a better example. So a woman becomes angry when her sister borrows her favorite coat and returns it with stains and a tear. Okay, a common response, you ruined my jacket. Are you ever going to grow up? Okay. A better thing to say using I statements, again, look at the little diagram. I'm upset that my coat was damaged because I can't afford to replace it. I really appreciate it when things I loan out are taken care of. Okay, so you're not attacking the person, you're just explaining why you feel this way, like what happened. Yeah, so that last one's pretty silly. But I hope you get the idea. So I want you to practice with another person. Let's use a study abroad. This will happen to you, I'm sure. You are sleeping and your roommate comes home and is noisy, maybe slamming doors, making a lot of noise, ruffling bags, whatever, turning on music, who knows. So how do you approach that person? You're trying to sleep and they're making a lot of noise, and it's a behavior that happens often, okay? So go ahead, discuss. How do you talk to them about it? Jennifer Miller Thayer in Costa Rica, this is like her deal.
Yeah.
She's going to help me when she comes back.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, maybe she could come and run for us.
Yeah, well, I don't want to. But she's going to do France, right? So, so she needs to think about that anyway.
Maybe what we'll do next time when they introduce each other, give them something to talk about.
I wanted to do that. I don't know what's going on with this computer. I was trying to type things, but there's a license issue.
Like talk about your what's your favorite? Talk about the sir your name.
Yeah.
What your name? What your name?
We'll do icebreaker games too.
What's the best way for them to, want to send them money or use a debit card?
Yeah,
exactly. International fees.
Exactly. So we're going to get to that point.
Okay, so I hope you're able to.
They're going to be using their debit
do that successfully. One more role play. Switch roles. Let's say you have, this is probably going to happen to you, unfortunately, but you'll probably be a very clean person or a messy person. Let's say you're a clean person and your roommate is making a mess. Their clothes are on the ground, they don't do dishes, you're cleaning up after them, you're picking up after them. This is a common issue you'll experience. So what do you say? How do you use this? What do you say to that roommate? Okay, so switch roles, go ahead.
Presentation. Okay, we're just going to finish up the presentation. This is sort of the more practical aspects of the program. It is a completely different culture than the culture. I know a lot in Southern California. We do have, the Hispanic influence, so there will be a lot of things that are somewhat familiar, but it will be really different. Remember, Spain is a part of Europe, so they're much more European probably than we would say American Hispanic, right? Definitely different language. You're not going to find a lot of English speakers there in Spain. You're not going to find TV in English. You're probably not going to find a lot of signs and movies, things like that. But that's good, right? That's the best way to really work on your fluency in another language is by kind of jumping in. Isn't that how your parents taught you to swim? Didn't they just throw you in a pool, right? Yeah, that's what I do with my kids. It works. Sink or swim. Lots of unfamiliar foods, very different food than we're used to here in SoCal. So a lot of fish, great fish. Actually, that's the thing I miss about Spain the most. Lots of fried foods, lots of stews. With lots, that's what they eat there. The size of everything is much smaller than what we're used to, right? That you're going to find that your apartments are small compared to homes. The typical size of a 4-bedroom apartment in Spain is probably 1,000 square feet, small, right? 1,100 square feet, that's probably the average size of a 4-bedroom home. So even, apartments could be even smaller. Lack of personal space. Spanish get right up to you, right? They are very friendly. And what's the first thing you do when you meet a person in Spain? How do you greet them when you meet a person for the first time? Do you know? Kiss on the cheek, right? Just like the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, right? You go in for the kiss, right? You go, so you have your left and your cheeks touch. You don't, not lips on the cheek. It's just the cheek thing, right? So you get right in there from the very first thing. And girls kiss girls, guys kiss girls, but guys don't kiss guys. Guy on guy is the handshake. Unless you're father, son, first cousins, things like that, then there could be a kiss or a relationship. Different attitudes for sure. So you'll find that the Spaniards are very open, very frank. They say it like it is. The concept of PC is at a different level, and it does what's politically correct, right? There are certain things that you don't say in Spain, but you'll find it's a whole new standards, right? And so it's going to be your job to learn what they are. As far as customer service, we want you to remember that we come from a culture that is very customer service oriented. The customer is always right. Not necessarily in Spain. There are certain rules that everyone is aware of in the customer service area. Your local staff will help you with that. You should be aware of those rules and follow them accordingly. And then as far as smoking, be prepared for smoking. People will smoke. There is a smoking section in restaurants. Generally, it's the outdoor section of the restaurant, but there's smoking everywhere.
I just want to clarify, she's not telling you guys to smoke. There will be smoking more than you.
We don't want you guys to smoke, but it's done. All right? So keep an open mind. You have to learn from these things, right? We're sending you abroad to stretch your mind, to become more creative, to become more open-minded. So you're going to have to observe, reserve judgment until you know more about it, right? All right. About your Spanish life and culture course, Professor Salinger will be your professor of record for that. These are some of the topics that you'll be covering. Tuesdays you'll have lectures, and then on a combination of cultural visits. So you will have a series of visits that have to do with what you've learned in your lectures. So those should be A lot of fun, really enjoyable experiential learning. This is the one mandatory course, so you're all enrolled in this. You'll all be in that course together. All right, this is the Córdoba and Granada trip that's included with that. And you'll tell me if Granada is not better than Sevilla when you've been there. You probably won't think that because Sevilla is going to become like your second home. But Córdoba is beautiful as well. All right, so that's everything included. That is the Mezquita de Córdoba. It was a mosque from way back in the Middle Ages. Around 800 it was started. Now it has been turned into the Cathedral of Córdoba. This is Granada, the Alhambra. All right, you'll be spending the night in Granada. You will have free time there and tour the Alhambra as well. There's Granada. Ole, ole. These are some of the different cultural calendars, events that you have included. Your cooking class, you're going to learn how to make paella. And I think flan. Wine tasting, bicycle tour, optional excursion to Jerez la Frontera, Sevillanas. There's Ana.
Oh, yeah.
Ana Afzali. This is last year's group. All right, there's the paella. You don't stir paella. I don't know what they're doing. I think they're cooking the meat before. All right, in Marruecos, whoever would like to travel to Morocco, it's a fantastic country to go and travel to. Completely different from Spain, completely different probably from any other country you've ever visited. Very much that Herculean journey across the Straits of Gibraltar from Europe into North Africa. You'll take a bus to the port of either Algeciras or Tarifa, and then take the ferry across the Straits of Gibraltar. It includes hotel, meals when you're in Marruecos, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You'll visit Tangier, Titouan, and Chefchaouen, which is the Blue Village up in the mountains. So that's an optional trip. The price of that is $425, but it does include quite a bit. Here they are. I think that's Chefchaouen in the main plaza. Might be Titouan. Some spaces available. All right, so to get to the practical part of the program, definitely one checked bag. Like I mentioned before, space is limited. So if you bring a lot of luggage, there may not be many places to store it. Remember, you have access to do your own, you can do laundry. So you don't have to bring enough for 3 months. You can bring enough for a week and a half, and you'll be fine. You don't have to look like you're a fashion major in Milan, right? You can look like a student. I remember when I was there as a student, I wore the same outfits. I had like 4 or 5 outfits, and I wore them for a year, actually. I was there. By the time I got back, I was sick of those clothes, but it was fine. You know, it's fine. You can bring stuff that looks trendy. You know, they wear pretty much the same thing you guys wear. What Spanish students don't do is wear athleisure wear when they're not working out. That's the one big difference I find, right? So you find leggings, but generally like with a shoe or a boot, you won't find them with sneakers unless they're working out or going to the gym or something like that. So that's the big difference in clothes. Definitely one carry-on, one personal item. That means either a purse or a laptop bag, something like that, yeah.
So like the one personal item, if that were like an ukulele, would that?
That shouldn't be a problem. It would depend on if it's small, it shouldn't be a problem, right? I know guitars, you might have to check, I think, guitars.
Just remember you're traveling to the country that technically invented the guitars we know it. So,
You could buy one.
yeah. I'm not using my ukulele here.
Definitely talk to the airline. That would be my suggestion. But I don't think you have a problem. You could does it fit in an overhead?
Yes.
Yes.
If it does fit in overhead, you're fine. If it doesn't, then you'd have to check it. Right, and then pay the additional. Okay, but talk to the airline, I would. Medication, I can't stress enough about bringing enough medication, especially what you, not necessarily everything over the counter, but any medications that you have prescriptions for, you definitely need to speak to your doctor about having enough for the duration of the program. You can't take a prescription and have it filled in a Spanish pharmacy. That is not legal. right? It has to be a legal Spanish doctor for them to honor a prescription. Depending on the illness or what the issue is, seeing a doctor there and getting the same prescription, it depends on what the illness is, right? It's not always possible. The easiest, fastest, clearest thing is to speak to your doctor now. We still have a month before departure. Speak to them now. Make sure you have 3 months plus worth, right? In case you need a little extra while you're there. Take it and bring it in your carry-on. Don't pack it in your luggage in case it's lost. Bring a towel or 2. I always say bring 2 towels. Bring some towels that maybe you can dump later on, because in case you shop, souvenirs, things like that, those can be things that you just leave, right? So a towel or 2. Definitely we talked about clothing that you'll wear, not delicates, wool sweaters, things like that. We live in Southern California. They probably don't have wool sweaters. I know I don't have any. The temps and the weather is very similar to what we're used to here in Southern California. So it's very nice. When you go to Granada, well, you're going in March, it'll probably be a little colder. They have high mountains. But if you're taking trips to other places in Europe, you'll probably need warmer clothing. But Seville has a very nice climate, very mild. Definitely stuff that washes easy, that dries quickly. You won't have a dryer per se. Here's your dryer. Well, that's the photo. Sometimes jeans and towels take a while to dry, so that's why we would say have an extra towel for that couple days that your towel's drying. Okay? Rain jacket, umbrella, comfortable shoes. Shoes that have good support, and that sounds very old lady of me to say. But if you wear very flat shoes with no good arch support on those cobblestones, and you're walking probably an average of 6 to 10 miles a day, guess what? You're going to walk yourself into an injury, like a sprain or a tendinitis, something like that. I've done it. I know. I can speak from experience, and it's extremely painful, and there's nothing you can do but stay off it and get one of those boots and some crutches. So definitely shoes with good arch support. Camera, headphones, obviously, laptop for classwork, you need that. Just remember that there is no porter service. Nobody's going to carry your luggage for you. You have to be able to pick up your luggage. If you cannot pick it up, open it back up and take some stuff out. Take out the wigs, take out the nail polish, take out... I've actually had students do that. That's why I say that. Bed linens or pillows, don't bring those. They're supplied. Don't bring expensive hair dryers or flat irons. They probably won't work well anyway while you're there. We're going to talk about electricity in a second. You can buy inexpensive travel hair dryers or flat irons there in Spain. Plus, peluqueria hair stuff in Spain is very cheap and really good. Hair clothes you might wear, leave them home. Heavier, expensive items, don't bring the jewels. Leave the diamonds at home. Leave the gold at home. Don't bring it with you, right? Just take the junk. Climate in Seville, we already talked about that. You can see that the minimums are about what we have here. Maximums about what we have here. Pretty comparable. All right, you'll be living in a busy city. And a city where there's a lot of pedestrians, everybody's out, everybody's walking, right? Not in cars. You'll be seeing people all the time. All right, as far as power, they are on a completely different voltage system than we are here in the U.S. In the U.S., all of our appliances are built to support 110 voltage. In Europe, the voltage is 220 to 240, so when you plug in your appliance, it will be receiving double the current that it was built for and that it usually does. Receive. So that's why we say hair dryers and flat irons, they generally tend to blow up, right? So anything, let me finish because I might be answering your question. Anything like a laptop, a phone, a digital camera, they have built-in converters. So you don't have to worry about plugging them in because they're built for all of those different currencies, right? They're converting it already. But those small appliances like an alarm clock, those are not. So you would blow it up. Question?
Would it still apply if it's low voltage?
If it's dual voltage, you're fine, right? Yeah, so that's voltage. What happens now is that the plug is different, right? We have the flat plugs. This is what the Spanish plugs look like, right? So you are going to need an adapter, something that you can plug your charger into that will fit into the wall socket. So you definitely want to have 2 of these. These are very cheap and inexpensive. You can get them, I've seen them at Staples, I've seen them online at Amazon. You can get them for a couple bucks. You can get a couple of these, or if you're going to be traveling around to a few European countries, you might want to get these big universal ones. Those are under 10. I always say have 2 because you always want to plug in your phone and your computer, right? So it's good. Maybe you have 1 of each. Yes?
So for appliances and stuff, do you think things like a switch, for example, would be fine with voltage?
Yeah, I think the switches are made for travel, so it should be fine. Yeah, you'll just need the adapter. So if you're, for blow dryers and and hair irons, you can buy cheap ones there, right, with the Spanish plug. That's fine. And even in the apartments, you can share. So it can be a group expense, a couple euro, right? But I think that's fine. Because I've traveled with kids before, and they didn't have switches. They had the little Game Boys, and they were fine. Yes?
So for the students staying in an apartment, they have a washer?
They have a washer
That the,
and a drying rack. Each apartment has it. So in the kitchen, they'll have probably, maybe not a dishwasher, but they'll have the washer where a dishwasher would be. Does that make sense? And so they're generally front loaders. They're generally 5, maybe 6 kilos, which is about up to 12, 13 pounds of laundry, which is one medium-sized load. Right? Students in the apartments will have to buy their own detergent. And in the homestays, it's all included, and the homestay family will probably do the laundry. Those ladies do laundry, iron, they do the whole thing. Yeah. Okay. All right. Any other questions about laundry, things like that? No, you're going to learn. Spaniards have few things. They have nice things, but few things, and they tend to wear them over and over again. So, yes, question.
We have like appliances there. Do we have an iron there, or do you have to buy it?
I think most apartments have an iron. Ironing board and iron. Any other questions? Good question. So as far as money, right now you'll be using the euro currency, which if you're going to travel, it's nice because it's used by several different European countries, Spain included, Italy, France, Germany. The euro has a lot of coin, so there's no bill under €5. The coins are 1, 2, and then cents, euro cents, right? Just kind of like what we have. They have a few more coins than we have here in the U.S. So having a little coin purse is helpful, especially for that. It is more of a cash society than we are, although it is an electronic. I mean, you'll be able to pay using a credit card or a debit card to many places, but you'll find places that are cash only, probably more often than we do here. So there will be moments when you need to, we always have to have some cash with you in case of emergency. We want to start the money section by urging you that you have to talk to your bank. You have to set a travel warning or a travel advisory, which means that you're letting your bank know that you'll be using your cards while you're away in different foreign countries. So because you'll be going away for so long, you might have to have that conversation with your bank. So you might want to call or go visit them. And then anytime you leave Spain and you'll be using your cards in another country, you want to make sure that you update that travel advisory. So for example, during Easter break, you're going to travel to France, make sure that you set a travel advisory with your bank for that weekend. Let them know what countries you'll be traveling to. It's easy, you can do it online, but again, because you'll be going so long, I would definitely talk to the bank and make sure that they know that you're gone for 3 months, all right? If you don't set the travel advisory, your bank could, and your bank sees activity on your card in a foreign country, they could freeze your accounts, right? So you want to make sure that you let them know. Sometimes there's a little bit of miscommunication, and I've heard of banks deeming certain activity that you thought you advised as suspicious activities, and they freeze it just as a precaution. So definitely make sure 2 things: that you know how to get in touch with your bank in case of emergency. Second, make sure that you have a plan B for funds in case something like that happened. Or say your debit card is lost, or say it's pickpocketed. You always need a plan B. So we definitely want you to have a debit card. That's how you'll access cash. You can make payments with your debit card. Have a credit card as a backup, just in case. Credit cards are good for larger purchases. Say you're going to travel and you want to purchase a plane ticket, or you want to buy that expensive Spanish guitar, something like that, then credit cards are good for that. Definitely talk to your bank and what is your best option. If you don't want a credit card, you can think about a Visa Travel Money Card, which used to be the traveler's checks of my generation. Now they have these Visa Travel Money Cards where it works kind of like a debit card. You can upload funds onto it and use it as an ATM or as a credit card. But it's good to have 2. I would never. My son did study abroad with Citrus 2 years ago to Costa Rica. He had 2 ways to access funds just in case. Yes, ma'am.
So does the Visa Travel Money Card also have fees attached to it?
Everything has fees. Everything has fees. It's a matter of investigating the different options and figuring out which has the least amount of fees.
So in terms of planning for the month, to have cash, and I know everybody's budget is different.
Sure.
But would you recommend, I see that you say bring 100 to 150, but to reduce the constant cost of fees?
Sure.
Would you recommend just pulling $200-$300 for the month?
That's exactly right.
Okay.
That's exactly right. So everybody's budget is different because the students in the homestays will have less out of pocket because of the included meals. The ones in the apartments will have more out of pocket because they have to buy food. Generally, we recommend, every student is different, but students have told us about $600 to $1,000 a month, including travel. Trips, a 1 long weekend trip, things like that. But everybody's budget is different. We do recommend, if you're going to take out cash, to take out larger sums because, like you said, you might have some cash withdrawal fees. And then storing the cash in your suitcase. Make sure you have a little lock for your suitcase. That's always really handy. Make sure your passports, all your documents, any valuables are always locked in your suitcase. Yes?
There are some credit cards that don't have.
Well, in the end, they get you because they're giving you worse rates on the currency. So that's why there's no such thing as free, right? So they might give you a worse currency rate and they're charging their fees that way. So you just want to figure out what. And currency rates change on a daily basis, right? That's set like the stock market. So just so you know, there are ways. I would definitely talk to your bank. Internet and Wi-Fi access, you will definitely have free Wi-Fi in your accommodation. You'll have it in your study center. We just want you to know it will be slower. You're not going to have download speeds like you are accustomed to here. When I go back, sometimes it's frustrating. I can't believe it. But it's true. We're very spoiled here that we have such fast speeds here in the States. So if you're all in your student apartment and there's the 4 or 6 of you and you're trying to all Skype and watch Netflix all at the same time, expect it to freeze a lot. So you have to be resourceful and community-minded and kind of, maybe watch Netflix together. There are things that you can do to accommodate that. You see the difference in download speeds here in California versus Spain. All right. Time difference of 9 hours. Like we say, if you are waiting till your mom or dad or boyfriend, whomever gets home from work, and so you're going to set your alarm for 3 a.m. and you're going to chat at 3 a.m. with them, remember that everybody else in your apartment and your apartment building are probably sleeping. So if you are speaking very loudly, you're going to wake them up. That is an inconsiderate behavior. So please just keep it down. Maybe get one of those little microphone things that you can speak into so you don't have to scream. All right. We want you to stay offline, and this is the part where I give it to the parents, and I'm a helicopter mom too. But you got to let them go. It's time, right? So it's okay if they're not calling home and sending 3 text messages a day. They're not calling home every single day, several times. We're watching them, number one. Remember that. We're watching them. No news is good news. The second bad news hits, we're going to find you, right, and let you know. But it's time to let them go and be on their own and hopefully disconnect. We want them to learn how to navigate the world, another country, another culture. We don't want them online. As a matter of fact, we're going to be giving them a hard time about being online too much because we want them to learn the language, to learn the culture, to grow, to stretch their minds. And if they're always on their phones, you're not.
My wife and my kids are actually in Seville already, and my wife is wishing we would raise our kids over there because everyone's not on their phone all the time. Me on the metro, the weirdest thing happens, people are reading books. So it's a pretty neat opportunity to experience life like what people used to.
Yeah. Honestly, if you have friends, family, and loved ones here in California, but you're going to Spain to learn something different and build a life there. If you keep trying to connect back with them, you're never going to be happy in Spain, right? It's your job now, and it's your job to build a life there in Spain. And so the only way to do that is to get there, hit the ground running, be active, do things, visit things, and there's a big community of you that you're not going to be alone doing it. It's, you're going to have people to do it with. But you got to get there and you got to get it done, right? If you are on your phone and back online and calling home all the time, you'll never be happy in Spain. All right? Remember that. Yes.
Okay, helicopter mom here.
Hi.
I don't want to keep bothering her, check in. So if someone doesn't arrive back to their apartment, is anyone keeping track of that?
Yes, so we we will talk about that in a second, but yes, absolutely. We want you to look out for one another, although you have no RAs in the apartments, but you are sort of a community and a family, so we want you to look out for one another. We don't want you out by yourselves doing things, so we definitely do that. Set a regular schedule, but every single day, 3 times a day is too much. It's too much. So I have a boy. He was in Costa Rica. I knew our staff was looking out for him. He only called when his phone got pickpocketed and not a photo posted to anything. And I felt like I couldn't breathe. I mean, I had like hypertension the entire month until he got off that plane. I wasn't even sure he was going to get on the plane, but I knew our staff wouldn't let him stay there. And it was the best thing. He changed completely. It was just the best thing for him ever. So I know exactly how you feel, but you just gotta, it's time. It's time. If I could do it, you could do it. Set a regular schedule. Our advice is to use, Wi-Fi based communication modes like WhatsApp. Everybody in Spain has WhatsApp. So if you don't have that app yet, download it. It's free. Everybody's going to ask you for your WhatsApp, and you can call on WhatsApp when you're on Wi-Fi. So that is it's a free way to communicate back home. Viber, Skype, those kinds of things. Either get an international plan for your phone. Some providers have one, like T-Mobile has a pretty good one, right? Where you can you have unlimited data within limits. They say unlimited, but if you're streaming and watching videos on your data all the time and you're abroad, I don't know, that day might come where they say that's enough. Or other ones like AT&T and Verizon, they have international plans where you have limited data for a certain amount of megas, whatever that is. Turn off data and roaming in those if you don't get an international plan to avoid a big bill. If there were an emergency, you could always turn it back on, right? Or consider purchasing a cheap local cell phone. That used to be the way to go, but if you'd like to do that, our staff can help you when you get there. SIM cards for an automatic phone, that's all good. Mail postcards, letters to family and friends, go snail mail. Definitely if you applied for scholarships, even if you applied, if you got recommendations from faculty, definitely send them postcards, all right? That's just a little hint. Definitely thank them for the recommendation and let them know they were a little part of you getting here, all right? Definitely have insurance for your phone. When my son's phone got pickpocketed, it was great because we had insurance on it, and so it helped mitigate the cost of a brand new cell phone, even though that other one was new. Definitely use it as a Wi-Fi device. Be careful when roaming, that kind of thing. You can use it as a map, just be careful. Watch out for pickpockets. When you sit down at a local outdoor cafe and you put your phone down on the table, be very careful because we've had so many students get distracted and then someone come and lift it off the table, lift it off pockets. Whenever I travel, sorry, Andy, I always travel with this little purse. This is my travel purse, and it's always like this. And they have man purses in Spain, by the way. My husband is Spanish, and he carries a man purse in Southern California, and they laugh at him, but in Spain it's normal, so. All right. All right, receiving mail, you have the address to the AIFS Center, the Click School. That will be your mailing address, regardless of the apartment or homestay. We want all the mail goes centralized to the school. If parents, if you decide to send your student a care package, just a couple words of caution. You cannot mail food. You can't mail medications. You can't mail anything that's cosmetics. Not even medicated soap. Those will not be accepted when they go through customs. They won't be accepted into the country. It'll be returned to sender, and that usually takes months, that whole process. So you can send used and personal goods with a value of up to $50, right? So that's what you have to list on the little green sticker that they give you at the post office. If you declare the value of the package over $50, or you list any valuable items like electronics, iPhone, something like that, then customs will want to tax that package, right? That's a source of income. So customs taxes, importation fees can be very high. I had a student who went on Amazon and ordered a pair of hiking boots, and the value from Amazon was like $250, and he got taxed like an additional $250. So those boots cost him $500 to get in Spain. So be careful. The limitation is $50, and they have to be used personal goods. All right? As far as health insurance, we kind of talked about that when I talked about taking care of yourself. Wonderful doctors in Spain. All the same technology that we have here in the U.S. Definitely, if you're not feeling well, go see a doctor. Our staff will set up the appointment. They will accompany you to the appointment if needed. They'll help you with the translations if we can't find an English-speaking specialist. Definitely, any fees, if you had any out of pocket, or if sometimes are insured, sometimes the doctors for small doctor's fees won't take direct payment from our insurance. So if you had to pay the bill and then got the receipts, we would help you file the claim for reimbursement. All right, reimbursement would come in dollars to your home address. I think that's about it. Pharmacies give great advice. Counseling and support services are available if needed. Please reach out to us if you need any of that. Yes, ma'am.
So the fees that we paid included the health insurance?
Yes,
okay.
Right.
I just wanted to make sure I had.
No worries. So in the portal that I want you to log on to starting on Monday, there's the insurance brochure. It's like a 7-page document, including claim forms are in there. But they have 4 pages of detail of everything that's covered, that's included. You get up to $100,000 worth of coverage per claim with a one-time $50 deductible per claim. All right. There was the option to upgrade to $250,000 worth of coverage. It's not necessary, frankly. The cost of healthcare in Spain is not, I wouldn't even want to say half. It's not a quarter of what it is here. in the United States. So you're probably fine with the coverage that's automatically included. Now your own home health insurance doesn't stop covering you. So if anything were to happen, you have that as a secondary policy, right? But this is really good, really comprehensive. I've worked with it for a long time. I love this insurance policy. They're excellent. What it doesn't cover is your stuff. Right? So if your stuff is pickpocketed, lost, or stolen, you want to have insurance for your stuff. We offer a policy, which is all right, that you can upgrade or you can buy. But if your homeowner's insurance covers travel, or you maybe talk to Geico or your car insurance and see what kind of policy they have. But it is recommended that you insure your stuff, your laptop, your luggage, all of that stuff. Okay? Questions?
If you're traveling outside of Spain, are we covered?
Absolutely. You're covered for the duration of the program, plus 30 days additional at the end of the program for independent travel. It stops the second you come back to the U.S.
But not before?
Doesn't cover before. Doesn't cover before. All right. Any other questions? All right. Safety and security, and we're going to get to that, and behavior, but definitely health and safety is our number one priority. It's going to be a lot of what we talk to, especially to our students about, especially when you get there. Everyone is responsible for his or her own health and safety, and there are a series of things that you should be doing to ensure that this experience is as healthy and safe as possible. Definitely make a photocopy of your passport, scan it, email it to yourself, keep it stored in your email, keep a photocopy at home, and then you've uploaded a photocopy to your AIFS portal, right? That was on your to-do list. If you didn't do that, you have to do that right away. And then we will have a copy of it, just in case. And then when you're out and about in Seville on a daily basis, you're going to walk around with a photocopy and your student ID card. Right? We don't want you to walk around Seville with your original passport. You're going to keep that locked in your suitcase. Definitely limit expensive items. And then neutral clothing. We don't mean wear beige all the time. What we mean is don't walk around in very provocative clothing like political statement clothing. That is provocative, right? People are going to react to that. That's the kind of thing. We want you to not look like a tourist. We want you to look as Spanish as possible. Sometimes wearing very American-looking clothing, like college T-shirts, baseball hats, stuff like that, identify you more easily as a tourist or a foreigner, and it makes you an easier target than if you were to blend in and look like a Spaniard. Do I have a question over there? No, I thought I saw a hand come up. Pickpockets are your biggest danger while you're there, right? So making sure that your stuff is always, safely put away, and you have it in front of you rather than in a backpack behind you, then you are your stuff is safer. Not leaving your stuff, you're not watching your stuff, you're leaving it next to you in a cafe, on a bench, in a park, in a plaza. That's where people come up and you don't even know, and it's gone. All right? So using common sense and I grew up in New York, and that's the way they raised us. Like, be a little bit paranoid that people are going to take your stuff all the time. And so in Europe, that's a good survival skill, right? In Europe, I never leave my purse unattended, ever. All right, this is number one on the list before. Register with the U.S. Embassy STEP program. So this is a definite to do before you go. You can literally Google STEP, and this is the first thing that will come up. This is an online safe database run by the U.S. Department of State. When you register for that, you need your travel information, so you need your flight itinerary, you need your passport on hand. You'll have to upload all of that information or register all that information into this secure website. What this does is a few things. It then will put you in their email list, and anytime there's a travel advisory for Europe, Spain specifically, they will send it to you so that you are aware of things going on that could be potentially dangerous. And then also our government knows where you're located. So if anything were to happen in Spain or in Seville, then they know where you are. Right? So that is kind of just one thing less to worry about when you're there, right? So this is definitely important. It's definitely something that you all have to do. It's mandatory, all right? When you're going to take a trip outside of Sevilla, not on a program trip, but on a trip on your own independently, you definitely want to register the information for that trip in STEP. Another thing we do is this first little bullet point up here, log weekend travel plans. So on Wednesdays, you'll probably get an email from our local staff saying, are you going away this weekend on your own? If you are, send us your travel information. Again, that is a mandatory thing that we require all students to do. We want you to tell us where you're going, how long you're going for, where you're staying, who you're going with. We need all that information. Remember, AIFS has programs all over Europe, right? We're in most European countries. And we have local staff all over. If you were to travel to Berlin and say there was a natural disaster, there was a big flood in Berlin or something like that, you needed help. We'd like to know where you are so that our staff can help you, our staff from Berlin, right? If you don't tell us where you're going, then it's so much harder for us to try and figure out where you are, right? So this is a mandatory thing that you all will get in the habit of doing. It's for your own benefit, right? It's so that we can help you. But if you don't help us, we can't help you, right? Make sense? All right, awesome. Here again is your emergency contact information. This is the same cell phone number that we gave you before. You're going to put it under E for emergency in your cell phone. Yes? Question? Sorry.
If we're traveling on the weekends,
Yes.
do we need to notify IAFS and also the STEP program? Are there two different steps?
They're two different things. Yes, you'd have to do both. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I know, but it's for your own good, right? God forbid something. I mean, we know that we all watch the news. We know stuff is happening, and it could happen anywhere. So notifying both of us, because we don't have access to that private information with the government, it's necessary that you update both of us. Okay? And when you're traveling as a group, one of the group members can notify us for all of the group, right? That make it a little easier. Okay. All right, and then we're going to finish up the presentation.
This is it, right?
Yeah.
So now we get to the fun stuff, disciplinary procedures. Yay! But before we do that, maybe we'll talk about health and wellness. So, and then I also just want to talk about what it's going to be like to be over there, and I want you to think about some things. So I want you to be mindful about self-care because you're going to be in a new environment. All right, so the time change could affect you. I think at the beginning you're going to be exhausted when you arrive. So if you do have a history of anxiety, depression, if you're taking medication, or if you're having mood changes, that's normal, right? That's normal to be tired, to have these mood changes when you're in a new country, away from all your friends and family that you've known your whole life. So it's completely normal, and you should talk to your faculty members about it. You could talk to the AIFS staff. You could talk to each other. Just let people know how you're feeling. Ask for help. So it's completely normal to miss your parents, miss your town, miss your routine. You're going to be in a new routine, miss certain foods. So just think about that. You know, things are going to be very different. Prepare yourself for that. And if you start feeling a certain way, talk to somebody. If you do notice, yes?
I was going to say, it's also really normal to be frustrated that things are done differently. And if you're feeling that, it's good, but come talk to us so that we can work through it. We'll talk about it in class also. That's part of the experience to see that.
Yeah, and if you see someone and you think they're having a hard time, check in with them yourself, you know? You can tell people it's completely normal to say, you know, I'm feeling kind of lonely right now. I'm really missing my parents or my mom. it's okay to share that with anyone in your groups. So, yeah, that form is self-explanatory. List allergies or medications. Yeah, your plan for managing these things while you're abroad. What else? Yeah, it's like an emergency information form for us. If there is an incident, we'll have it on hand. And your faculty will have an idea of how to support you, right? And yeah, for prescriptions, I think Paula already covered that information, bring enough and extra for the duration of your stay. Marijuana is legal here, right? But it's not legal everywhere, so don't take it in your bag. That's a bad idea, you know, don't use those products. If you're bringing medication abroad, be sure it's in the original container, also with a label. You don't want just a bottle of pills on you going to another country. And if you're on birth control, make sure you have enough with you. Yeah, there could be random checks, right? So just make sure everything's legal, nothing. Of course, you can't bring any weapons abroad. No knives. Pepper spray is illegal, I think.
Yes.
Can't bring pepper spray. So again, most importantly, if you're not feeling well, physically or otherwise, be sure to tell someone. And I think, you know, there's a $50 deductible with that insurance. But honestly, just pay it and go to the doctor. Because if you get sick for a while, it's like, it could get worse. Just go to the doctor. Okay, so complete those forms. I'll give you a second, and then I'm going to talk about this fun form here. It's called the Study Abroad Student Agreement. This is all common sense information, okay? So these are the Citrus College Student Code of Conduct. So you're all Citrus College students now. Your college has the same thing. You know, it just, if you read it, it's things about physical injury, possession of weapons, selling substances, robbery. So go ahead and read that. It's all very common sense. I think but I have to do this because stupid things happen when students are abroad. I've had roommates get physical with each other, and that will cause you to be ejected from the program, obviously, right? And when you're ejected from the program, there's no refunds. Everything's been paid for already, right? So, you know, and then there's things with substance abuse too, right? So I've had students smoking marijuana in a homestay. Mm-hmm. And of course, I mean, why are you doing that? That is something you shouldn't do, obviously. But people, I don't know if they're not thinking or what, but of course that's going to result in your ejection from the program. So read this form. Again, it's just common sense things. And I think alcohol is a big issue, obviously. Mm-hmm. So you can't come, this is part of this college's student conduct policy and AIFS's policy. You cannot show up intoxicated to your class, obviously. I don't know, it seems weird I have to say this, but I do, because it happens. So just
not even buzzed.
Yeah, buzzed. So just keep your behavior in
check.
Yeah.
No. Reeking of alcohol, reeking of marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
It's not good. We won't tolerate it.
So yeah, drugs, alcohol, aggressive behavior, just peruse these. And if there's misconduct, I think AIFS, do you want to talk about there?
Sure.
And you go over this too when you arrive also.
Yes. So our staff will go over it again when you get there. But if you do something that goes against this code of conduct, then our disciplinary policy generally is the three strikes you're out kind of system. So the first time you would get a verbal warning. So you meet with our local staff, our faculty, and you would get a verbal warning and Citrus would be notified. The second time it would be a written warning, again with the faculty and the staff, and then the warning would come back here to Citrus. The third time, you would be removed from the program. No refund, no credits. All right, so just be aware of that.
And then just one other thing, of course, there's Title IX. I don't know if you're familiar with Title IX, but it has to do with sexual harassment, which is the same policy abroad as it is here on campus. So if you if you're a victim of sexual harassment, you can talk to your faculty members, AIFS staff, or you can talk to Brenda Fink, who is our Title IX advisor here at Citrus College. Actually, if you go to the study abroad page, there's a Title IX section there. It just takes you to the Citrus College Title IX sexual misconduct page. So you have Brenda Fink's contact information there. Contact her again or your faculty. So, all right, fun stuff, right? So go ahead and sign this document and finish your medical forms. And we'll give you a couple minutes.
Question?